Hi everyone, in today's video I want to explain you how I learned German fast, effectively and with ease. Because German is not as difficult as so many people think. I will give you a step-by-step guide. If you will follow all those steps, then I can assure you that it will boost your German immensely. I've been studying German since I was 11 years old, and until I was 18 years old, so it means 7 or 8 years, I was studying German at school and nothing really worked for me. Even though I went over a lot of books and I was taught by native speakers, nothing really helped me to learn German. And in fact, I was really disappointed about learning German because it seems it's really difficult, it's really tough, and especially in the schools you constantly are repeating dirty das and so many grammar, and they're so often pointing to your mistakes that I actually have decided, okay, I'm never gonna be good in German. I actually started to hate the language and everything regarding German. I think a lot of students have similar issues, but I would say it's really just because you are studying German in an effective way. And when I was 18 years old, I had a dream to study abroad, at least for one semester during my high school. And I really wanted to go to the United States, but then for some reasons, like financial reasons, I've decided, okay, I will stay in Europe and I will learn and enhance the existing language. And I applied through the YFU program, which connects students and families all around the world and send them to the families to experience the real life, and I took it as a way to enhance my language. So I've decided to go to Austria to make my German better, and it was my goal number one. And let me tell you, my German got so much better only within a month. In total, I stayed in Austria 6 months, and after these 6 months I was able to communicate fluently, I was able to study in German, I was able to write essays, I was able to text with my friends, I was basically able to communicate and discuss any topic. However, it was not as easy just as going to Austria and then immediately I learned German. I had to put a lot of effort and proactive approach to learn and finally master this language, and that's why I will be telling you step by step what I did and what really worked for me. First of all, if you decide to learn German or any other language, you need to find your why, and this why needs to be strong enough. For me, learning German was important because I wanted to make my job prospects better, and I knew that if I will learn and I will master German, it will really help me throughout my career. If your why is strong enough, then this will become much easier. I would say one of the strongest why, it's usually partner, it's family, or it's better job, or if you want to move to the country, or if you want to study there, then those whys will keep you motivated enough throughout the process of learning the language. Secondly, I suggest you that you will pick up a language school. I personally studied German throughout my high school, but then even after the school I decided to work on my German further, and I pick up Goethe Institut. There are a lot of German schools, but I would say Goethe Institut is really professional. What I enjoyed the most, that we not only had teachers which were amazing and very skilled, but we also had a free access to the library with all German movies and with all German literature. I enjoyed it pretty much, and choosing language school is really important because it will set you the basis of the language. Third step is download an app which you will practice and use daily. The most popular one is Duolingo, so you can start with Duolingo. I recommend you to practice it daily, no matter what, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, but being in touch with the language is extremely important. I also suggest you to put the German language in your phone and in your computer. Basically, what we want and what helped me so much to learn German over such a short period of time was the complete immersion in the language. You also need to specify what is your goal. Is it your goal to just communicate in German, or is your goal to be able to study completely in German? I suggest you that you pick a level like A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, whatever you need to, and that you will end up your learning process with a certificate. At the end, you don't need to pay the certificate if it's not as important for you, but I feel that if we have a specific goal we work toward, it is for us just much more easier and we don't lose the track. So for example, my goal was always to achieve the B2 level, and then I was studying towards it, and then I took the österreichische Sprachdiplom B2 and I successfully achieved my B2 level, I recommend you to get a paper notebook where you will be writing all your notes. I know that nowadays we all use phones and laptops, but having this paper notebook really helped me to memorize all the new vocabulary. I also recommend you that writing the notebook with different colors, especially for der, die, das, try to put specific colors to it, and always learn all the words with the article der, die, das. It's really important because it's the essential part of every word, and writing it by your hand will make it just much more memorable for your learning. My other tip which really helped me was to get the chart of all the conjugation and also modal verbs and some of the basic words and phrases. Especially the conjugation is really helpful at the beginning to memorize it. I personally didn't find any other way than memorize it for the first, second, third and fourth case. And also for the modal verbs, it's really good to have this table with you because sometimes you don't know what is the correct form and you can just grab it and see it. I recommend you to putting this chart into your paper notebook. I believe that it's better to communicate even in a wrong way, but to be able to express yourself. But I didn't want to learn just any German. I wanted to speak properly and I wanted to speak in different way with my friends and in different way at the university, and I was really dedicated to it, and therefore I got this very massive book with all the grammar exercises. I was just going over the exercises over and over for basically the entire half year. I remember the time I paid for the book like €50, which was so much for me, but it was really nice investment because it helped me to memorize so much of the grammar and of the structure of how the language looks like and how building the sentences work and so on. And I suggest, if you want to make your German better, doing this as well. Again, I am fan of the having it on a paper. I have never found such nice exercises online as I found that on the book. In my case, it was that I was surrounded by German all the time. I understand that if you live abroad, then sometimes this is not possible, but try to search for ways to get in touch with the language as much as possible. And this was, for example, that I was listening to music which was just in German or by German artists. For example, I really like Mark Foster and other pop music, but for learning I recommend you to listen the Schlager, which sometimes it's really funny to hear and sometimes you might think, okay, this music is a little bit for the old people, but it's really good to learn with this type of music because it will teach you a lot of vocabularies and it's actually kind of funny to listen to. The second thing, it's also learning through movies. And now with Netflix it is so much easier because we can watch so many movies which are just from Germany, but we can also watch movies which are from America but are with the German subtitles. What really worked for me when I was studying German was also watching some of my really favorite series like How I Met Your Mother or Friends in German. Okay, I didn't like this German version that much, I'm sorry, but I knew exactly what they're talking about because I don't know if you're a fan of Friends or How I Met Your Mother, but I have seen these series so many times that I remember word by word that what they were talking about. And when I heard it in German, maybe I didn't understand every single word. I already knew what they were talking about, and this helped me so much understanding about the context. And this is something I need to highlight when you're learning new language. And in case of German, you don't understand what the people are talking about in every single word. That doesn't matter. The important is very often just the context. I am sure that if you're talking in your native language to someone, sometimes the people don't even listen to every single word, but they just kind of knew what you're talking about. And this is the same thing. Start with the context and don't be stressed and frustrated when you don't understand every single word. My favorite movie, which you have to watch no matter if you're learning German or not, it's Fuck You Goethe. I love this movie, it's really funny. Newspapers and just reading in German. Every single morning I went to websites about the daily news, and at the beginning I started with reading the headlines and just collecting my vocabulary and making it bigger and bigger and more richer. And then once you proceed with your German and you go to higher levels, you can read also the articles. I'm not a fan of reading really long articles, but you can start with a really short one. Or if you're into fashion, you can buy a Vogue in German and just getting inspiration from the picture and also from the text. If you're going to pick a text which really attracts you, then you're gonna be much likely to finish the text and immerse in the text much more, rather than if you're reading about something which you're not interested at all. Listening to music, reading and watching movies, it's like this part of the complete immersion into German culture. You might come from completely different culture and you will see how Germans interact with each other, even though Germany, Austria and Switzerland are all very diverse and multicultural countries. Listening and getting in touch with all these sources will help you to get a bigger perspective. One of the sources you must know if you're studying German is Deutsche Welle. I absolutely love this website because it makes the studying German much easier, because you can listen to the audio in a fast pace but also slow pace. And Deutsche Welle, it's basically created for students who learn German. Definitely save Deutsche Welle. I will put the link below this video, and this is one of the page which you can work with no matter what is your level of German. My other tip is going to shopping malls and going to shops and read all the labels in German. You can do it with the clothes. If you go to Zara and you need to practice how do you say trousers, how do you say shirt, and so on. I actually like to download some recipes in German and then going to supermarkets and searching for these items. This helps me to repeat the new words over and over. Of course, sometimes I don't understand everything, but for this we have a Google Translator or any other translator which are around the world. They actually work really nice, and if you're studying German using Google Translator or any other translator, it's no shame. I actually encourage using translator pretty much, but you should be always double checking if the translator, what is he saying, it's correct or not. But using translator, it's an essential part of learning language. If you're just starting out with German or you're already a fluent speaker, it's always a good idea to time participate in some language tandems. Now, you can practice more languages in language tandems, not only German. Usually there are people with huge variety of languages, but German is one of the most spoken language in Europe, so probably if you're gonna appear in some language tandem, there will be always someone who is speaking German. Also, if you're traveling and you meet some Germans, don't hesitate to speak German with them. They're always very pleased when someone knows their language, and if you say some mistake, don't be shy. We all know that German is not the easiest language. Even Germans, sometimes they don't know the correct grammar. What I did to practice my German was that I was writing every single day my personal diary in German. Now, of course, it probably was not in the best grammar, but I was practicing all the words which I needed for that day. If I didn't know the word, I just look it up. And I was also practicing writing by hand and both structuring the words. And just these 5 or 10 minutes of journaling in that language helped me so much to actually get used to German. At the end, every single day we encounter very similar situations, like I ate something, I had a lunch, I went for a workout, I meet up with a friends. And if you learn how to write this in your diary, very likely you're gonna need very similar phrase in the same week, and you will already know how to express these thoughts if you already have written it in your diary. Last but not least, find friends which speak German, and find them not only offline in the tandems or at the university, but try to also get in touch with some communities which are online and speak only German. Try to follow some accounts which speak only German, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Just try to basically switch your citizenship into German and get in touch with German as much as possible. If you're learning a new language, then learning is never enough, and consuming content in German from different sources and in different forms will only help you to ground everything what you just have learned. Finding friends which speak German is life-changing. I have to say, at least in my case, it was quite difficult in the beginning. If I appeared in a group of only German speakers, even though they spoke English, I told them, no, please speak German to me. I didn't understand everything, and sometimes I felt a little bit pushed away, and I felt a little bit outside of the group just because I couldn't express myself freely. However, if you will overcome these first months of little frustration that you're not able to express yourself like perfectly, I can assure you, if you overcome this, then you will become so much better in German, just because you were there, even though at that moment at the beginning you were not discussing some topics with as much passion as you would do it in your own language. At the end, I just want to tell you that learning a language is never-ending process, and if you're communicating and you're doing some mistakes, don't be shy or don't be afraid to do those mistakes. If you don't understand something, just ask, can you repeat it? Can you clarify? German speakers are also humans as any other people, and German should be, and the perception of German, I think, should be changed, because German at the end is really nice language, which is really rich, and once you will get a little bit deeper into how the language works and what is the literature like and what is the music and everything, I promise you that you will love the language. It's one of my most favorite languages, and I like it much more than English, for example, just because I can express into details everything. English, in the contrary, is much more general, and German has an expression or has several expressions for every single item or thing in the world. I still need to practice it daily, especially if you're learning a new language. Then it's natural that your knowledge of one language decreases a little bit as you're learning a new language. For example, after German, I started studying Spanish, and while my Spanish got much better, my German naturally decreased. However, the language memory is still in your body and in your brain, and if you practice it more often, the same way you go to gym, the faster you will become better. I'm really glad you were here. Let me know what you think about this video. Maybe send it to some of your friends who are studying German as well, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.